You've been curious about how thoughts and feelings move in the world, haven't you? How easily we fall into the patterns of believing that we know what others are thinking. You've probably heard yourself or someone else say, "I know you're upset," or "I know exactly what you're thinking." And yet, how often have you wondered, what if it's not quite true? You can think of how many times that assumption of mind reading may have felt like a path to understanding, only to realize later it was just a guess. A guess based on your own word, your own frame of reference, your own experience. Imagine this for a moment. What if the act of assuming someone else's thoughts or feelings is not a solid certainty, but instead a doorway to curiosity, a way to explore more deeply, a way to listen more fully? And as you listen without assuming, without presuming, doesn't it feel like there's a shift in perspective, where understanding comes from more than simply guessing what someone else feels? Perhaps you've noticed how easy it is to believe that we know what others are thinking. And yet, deep down, isn't it true? Sometimes we only guess, only project our own experiences onto others, our own emotions, our own patterns. What if this guessing was a way of protecting ourselves, a way of creating comfort, a way of making sense of the world, but not always the whole story? Now imagine what could happen when you take a step back from that automatic assumption. What happens when you simply open yourself to the possibility that you can't truly know, but instead you can connect? Imagine, if you will, allowing a new belief to gently settle in. That when someone else is upset or feeling something, what if instead of assuming, you simply asked? And then, when you ask, what if that simple act of curiosity allowed you to access their experience more deeply than any guess ever could? How powerful would it be to listen, without that inner voice jumping in to say, "I know what you're thinking," and instead just be there, present, available to really understand? As you experience this, perhaps you realize there are many layers to the things you feel, the things you think, and how those layers overlap with others. Each person has their own framework, their own history, their own unique experience that colors the way they see the world. When you begin to step away from mind reading and instead embrace the fluidity of human connection, you unlock the door to empathy, to genuine understanding, and to the subtle art of deep listening. What if, in this process, you could realize every time you step into that space of curiosity, you open up an entirely new level of connection? Consider how, when you really listen without needing to assume, there's a release, a freedom that emerges. Freedom from needing to be right. Freedom from the burden of assuming, and the ease of simply being present. Notice how the other person feels more heard, more understood, when you meet them with curiosity instead of certainty. In the same way, you can shift your own beliefs, your own inner voice, from certainty to wonder. You start to experience yourself as someone who's not trapped in the mind-reading trap, but someone who knows the value of asking, of being patient, and of listening deeply. You might already be sensing, in this shift, something opens, something softens, a way of being that doesn't need to judge, that doesn't need to guess, and instead feels like an unfolding, an exploration, where understanding is a process rather than a conclusion. Now imagine, as you go through life, you're able to recognize the subtle moments when your mind wants to leap to a conclusion about what others are feeling, and what others are thinking. And in that moment, you can pause, just for a breath, and shift. Instead of assuming, you can embrace the truth that the mystery of another person's experience is an adventure, a journey waiting to be explored, and how, in that very space, you become the one who discovers deeper truths, richer connections, and an entirely new way of seeing and relating to the world. Can you feel that? The freedom in shifting from assuming to exploring. Notice how that feels in your body. The openness, the release of any tension. You might even begin to notice how easy it becomes to ask the right questions, to really listen with the intention of understanding, rather than deciding what someone else is feeling or thinking. In that shift, there's an ease, and that ease becomes your new habit, your new natural state, where you no longer need to fill in the blanks, but instead you simply welcome the answers, the feelings, and the experiences as they come. You can start to see how beautiful it is to step into this new way of being. Imagine yourself engaging with others, and instead of rushing to know what they think or feel, you begin to ask with genuine curiosity, what's going on for you? How does that feel? And even, what do you need right now? With each question, the connection deepens, and with each response, the understanding expands. And now, just for a moment, notice how this belief, this new way of seeing, is beginning to sink deeper into your subconscious mind. Notice how it's becoming part of you, becoming your new automatic way of interacting with others. Notice how you can now interact without that pressure to know, without that need to mind read, and instead you can simply respond, listen and ask, because you know deeply. By doing so, you create a space where genuine understanding naturally unfolds. It's almost as though it's not just a belief anymore, but a way of being. You feel the difference, you experience the difference, and you know as you move forward, this path of curiosity and connection leads to richer, more meaningful relationships. And as you continue on this journey, notice how effortless it becomes to interact without assumptions, to listen without judgment, and to truly, deeply understand. Because after all, isn't that what connection is all about? And as you relax into this moment, you begin to notice how comfortable it feels to be here, right now. It's almost as though you've been waiting for this shift, waiting for this new understanding to quietly settle into your mind, like a soft breeze gently moving through the trees. And as that breeze sways the branches, so too does this understanding begin to flow effortlessly into your thoughts, into your beliefs. You can already sense this shift is happening, subtly in the background, just like the way the air changes, without you needing to think about it, or the way a soft melody flows, without you needing to guide every note. You don't have to force it. This belief that I don't need to know what others are thinking is already becoming a part of you. Can you feel that? How effortlessly it flows. Almost like a current on a river that gently carries you along. But this time, the river is carrying you towards a place of deep curiosity, towards a space where understanding isn't forced or assumed, but welcomed and discovered. And as you allow this understanding to deepen, you begin to recognize, when you stop assuming what others are feeling, you open up a world of endless possibilities, don't you? It's as if you've unlocked a door to an entirely new level of connection. And with that connection comes a deeper respect, a deeper appreciation for others. You realize how valuable it is to ask, to listen, to really understand. Because each moment of genuine curiosity opens you up to a new layer of connection, doesn't it? You might start to notice how this new belief begins to transform how you respond to others. Instead of reacting from a place of certainty, you now respond from a place of wonder. You begin to notice how your questions become more open, more inviting. As you ask, you create a space for the other person to share, to express, and in doing so, you connect at a deeper level. You begin to realize, when you stop trying to read someone else's mind, you allow yourself to truly experience them. And in that experience, there's a profound shift, one that feels light, free, and empowering. This belief that I don't need to know what others are thinking starts to feel like a powerful tool, doesn't it? A tool that frees you from the need to guess, to fill in the blanks, and instead opens you up to the beauty of not knowing. And in that uncertainty, in that space of not knowing, there's room for curiosity, room for understanding, room for connection. You can feel how natural this is becoming, how it's starting to feel right, to let go of assumptions. It feels almost like letting go of an old habit that no longer serves you, a habit that's held you back, keeping you from experiencing life in its full richness. As you release that old pattern, you open yourself to something new, something more authentic, something more real. And with that, there's a deep sense of relief, isn't there? A relief that comes with the realization that you don't have to hold all the answers, only the curiosity to ask the right questions. And now notice how each time you step into this space of curiosity, you also step into a new belief, a belief that connection and understanding come not from assumptions, but from the willingness to listen, to ask, and to truly hear. That's all it takes, isn't it? Just the willingness to engage with openness, to approach each person as a mystery worth exploring. And as you continue to embrace this new belief, notice how it naturally shifts the way you interact with others. You begin to see that with each question you ask, each moment you spend truly listening, you create an opening for a deeper connection. And as you create those openings, you begin to recognize something powerful. The more curious you are, the more you experience. And the more you experience, the more you know. Not in the way you once thought, by guessing or assuming, but by truly being present, by simply being with others. Not as someone who knows, but as someone who's open to learning. So much as if each interaction, each conversation, becomes an adventure of discovery. An adventure where there are no wrong assumptions, no missteps, just the pure joy of truly connecting. And it's freeing just to let go of that pressure to predict, to guess, to read the other person's mind. It's almost like lifting a weight from your shoulders. And with that release comes a newfound ease, a flow that happens effortlessly, almost naturally. And as you continue being drawn down this path, you can begin to recognize the subtle moments when the old habits of the mind reading want to creep in. And when that appears, it's almost as though you have a built-in reset button, one that reminds you to pause, to breathe, and simply ask. And as you do this, you begin to notice how much easier it becomes to create meaningful, authentic connections. There's no rush, no pressure, just a natural flow of curiosity leading to understanding, leading to a deeper, more fulfilling interaction. In this new way of being, you no longer need to assume. Instead, you simply open a door, step through and listen. And with each step, you feel a growing sense of ease, a sense of peace and a sense of power that comes from knowing you're fully present, fully open, and fully engaged in the process of real connection. You can sense deep down, this is how it's meant to be. And as you continue to live from this place, you find your relationships grow richer, your connections become more genuine, and your experience of others becomes more authentic than ever before. And now, as this belief settles deeply into your subconscious, notice how it's becoming automatic. You no longer have to remind yourself to ask, to listen, to be curious. It's becoming a natural part of who you are, integrated seamlessly into your daily life, guiding your interactions and enriching your relationships. And with every moment that passes, this belief continues to grow stronger, more solid, and more deeply embedded within you.